Hi, I'm Warren Whale, Manager of Data Governance at ATB Financial in Alberta, Canada. And this is our presentation on keeping up in a DevOps world. I've been with ATB for 3 years, and I'm responsible for the day-to-day management of our Collibra software, which we installed about 2.5 years ago. Before ATB, I was a data architect, so I come from an architecture and development background. In this session, I'll be describing what we did at ATB with Collibra to support DevOps as part of the deployment of a new data lake implemented in Google BigQuery. Um, I really enjoyed my first visit to Data Citizens and especially New York City in 2018. And I was honestly a little stressed about presenting in front of a small room within a technical track this time. But in this pandemic era, I'm thankful that Collibra offered us the opportunity to safely present in a virtual session, which I hope you'll find useful. Nevertheless, I do look forward to attending another Data Citizens in person. Um, who is ATB? ATB is a regional financial institution originally created by the Alberta government in the 1930s, dedicated to helping the people of Alberta through the tough times of the Depression. Now a Crown corporation, ATB's original purpose of Albertans helping Albertans had never been important. Um, and we were also recently named the best company in Canada to work for. So that was pretty nice. Within ATB, data governance is a small but mighty team of originally 6 people created in 2017 to establish a governance program from scratch. We've now grown to just 10 people overall, with 2 of us managing and developing Collibra. Uh, A year ago, our leadership realized that we needed to take another order of magnitude leap in our analytics capabilities beyond the dramatic improvements we'd already taken. After some proof of concept work and experimentation with BigQuery, the go no go point was reached in the fall of 2019. The decision was made to go all in on Google BigQuery and to do so quickly in order to reduce some legacy licensing costs and to really enable our AI and data scientists to do their best work. And ATB has some of the best in the world. Um, how many times have my fellow IT people out there been in this position? I know you feel the same pain. Um, New technology has never been done before. It's like, how are we going to do this? Um, we'd use Collibra to document our enterprise data warehouse, our HANA reporting databases, and our Hadoop environment. But we really didn't participate that closely in development processes. We built a data classification feed for Hadoop, fed from Collibra, but only used it at a late stage. Collibra was primarily just documented the contents and lineage of the databases. Then came BigQuery. Unfortunately, it didn't take long before we realized that there was no third-party software available for dynamic data masking on BigQuery, as we'd already implemented on our prior databases. Um, we had the classifications information we needed within Collibra and the appropriate matching user security roles on Active Directory. So in theory, we should be able to do it ourselves. And we did. To make that happen, we would have to combine the power of BigQuery with the metadata capabilities of Collibra. We would have to develop much faster data governance processes and develop Collibra automations to ingest and classify tables at DevOps speed. These would allow us to keep up the data pipeline development teams as they deployed thousands of tables across multiple database environments in development, test, and production. Our Collibra helps support many of the major benefits of DevOps, improving development frequency. Our repeatable ingestion and classification automations enable large biweekly pipeline releases of hundreds of tables at a time. Achieving faster time to delivery. Our automations enable quick turnaround on new tables and views in development and test to avoid stifling developer creativity. Lowering the failure rate of new releases. Our consistent deployment of classifications in development, tests, and production reduces classification problems on reporting, shortening the lead time between fixes. Our ability to form quick classifications allows user report testing feedback to be quickly incorporated by the developers. and improving mean time to recovery in case of disaster. Our Collibra generated table classification scripts are incorporated into our disaster recovery automations. So there are two principal development scenarios we target at Collibra. Now, the first scenario is high volume pipeline deployments to the data lake, which are scheduled, repeated in each database environment, and generally straightforward to work with. The goal here is to quickly apply the classifications and dynamic masking instructions on the dozens or hundreds of tables deployed in a release to enable reporting as soon as possible. Because as a fail-safe default, our dynamic masking solution masks the data in the tables until Collibra provides the classifications to unmask them. So we try to minimize that mask time as soon as possible. Um, the second scenario is rapid custom development, where we work with a developer to ingest a few new or changed tables as versions, apply the lineage and classification, and enable the dynamic masking results on just those few tables. The goal on this is to turn on the table quickly enough that we don't inhibit or interrupt the developer's design process, thus enabling them to build their solutions faster. So the automations we develop fall into three main areas. There's ingestions of tables, classification lineage on columns, and the dynamic data masking feed. For ingestion of BigQuery and Google Data Catalog, our Collibra Connect integration simultaneously ingests metadata from both BigQuery and Google Data Catalog at about 1,000 columns per minute. This combination of metadata provides the content necessary for Collibra to generate classifications through the subsequent dynamic masking feed. For classification, lineage, and Google Data Catalog, our Collibra workflows and Connect integration automatically establish lineage and column classifications within Collibra and synchronize some of that metadata between Collibra and Google Data Catalog. And for dynamic data masking, our Collibra workflows and Connect integration write column classifications into Google Data Catalog for use in the BigQuery-based dynamic masking solution, which controls data masking presented through the Tableau reporting. So, so we use various combinations of the automations in different scenarios to accomplish the desired end-to-end automations. The end result is that Collibra's role has dramatically expanded from being just documentation to now being a critical step in the DevOps process. So here's an example of the Collibra automation steps which I use to support our, in this case, high volume data pipeline deployments. ATB is an SAP banking shop, so our data lake contains 700 plus tables currently sourced from our SAP Business Warehouse, BW. This predictable high volume pipeline scenario allowed us to build a number of Collibra Connect and workflow automations, which greatly increased our speed of classification deployment. We even reduced our processing time from days to minutes with these automations. Using Silwood Sapphire, which is a third-party ERP data dictionary metadata sourcing tool, we import BW metadata into Collibra and assign the column classifications to that asset just once when the BW table is identified as a candidate for loading into the data lake. The classifications and ERP descriptions are then reused multiple times as the BW table itself gets implemented in the multiple data lake environments, dev, test, and prod. The lineage and classifications on the development version of the table metadata are repeated by workflows in Collibra as that BigQuery table is then deployed into test and production and ingested into Collibra. So this reuse ensures consistent classifications. Data quality scoring integrations and relationships to business terms then add additional business value to the business critical columns. Tableau integration and stitching allows us to record the lineage from database column to report field, thus completing end-to-end lineage within Collibra. So by May of 2020, it was about 5 months since we started, We had enough of the combined solution in place to enable the data lake to go live. We're continuing to deploy additional automations as the DevOps process further evolves. And we're looking forward to using new capabilities being delivered by Collibra. So thank you for listening, and to Collibra for the opportunity to present this year's conference. I hope our presentation gives hope to the Collibra teams buried in manual work and to the development teams which need as much support as they get in this new era. Thanks again, and stay safe out there, everyone.